Welcome back to Brave Little Books. This is the last book I'm going to review in 2012. I will be traveling in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully you all are honing in on the books you're giving as gifts already, so you don't need any more recommendations from me. So for my last book of 2012, I picked this collection of poetry. Yay, poetry! This is Everyday People by Albert Goldbarth. So, for one thing, when I first looked at this book, I thought that the pictures represented the 12 months of the year, and I thought that would be especially appropriate. But the inside cover says that the cover art is made of images from a Japanese syllabary card game, which means that these are probably just 12 different nouns or activities. Oh well, what can you do? Albert Goldbarth is a very prolific writer, and these poems are filled with different references and connections and ideas. And that's what I love about Goldbarth. This is poetry of abundance. Literally, it's like 3 times as long as any other collection of poetry I've reviewed here. So yeah, the abundance does make it hard to read all at once. They take you from place to place and person to person and line to line very quickly, and if you're not paying attention, it can be hard to keep up. But take your time. What that means, though, is that this is a book that's full of potential. It's full of ideas and wild tangents that take you to places that you never thought about really thinking about before. Like about where the word testimony comes from, or the spice, saffron, or what Darwin's wife thought about evolution. But that's who we are, notes Goldbarth, not just exceptional people like Albert Einstein, or Marie Curie, or Steve Jobs, or Thomas Jefferson, but everyday people, people like you. There's Marvin Minsky, he writes, the man who invented the term artificial intelligence. Another person, feedback loop, prenup, swapping spit for a certain rooty-tooty juicy kiss. With the help of a breeze, her hair confided her neck to the room. Somebody sculpted that line out of language. Someone is the editor of the Journal of Arid Environments, and someone is the professor of foul pathology at an Albanian university. Karl Peter Paulsen, 56, of Germany, now owns 60,000 ballpoint pens. You might not be on that list, but you're referred to there in the abundance, the infinity of other possibilities. You're right there, just off the page, whatever it is you do and whatever it is you contribute to this moment and this place in time in human history. And not only does Goldbarth pick over the details, but he comments about his own picking over the details. And he doesn't do this in terms of the process of poetry, which has been done and done and done before. This time, it's in terms of a fish. The sightless cave fish, waxy white albino slivers, sleek up into the pock in a rock that's barely bigger than they are, and through it. Somewhere in there's a metaphor for us, and what we're blind to, what enormity we're blind to, and how surely and emphatically we still conduct our daily selves. The difference is, they don't know that they don't know. Ours is an awful awareness, filled with itch and wonder. There's a pattern out there we can't see, not even if we're the threads of it, or especially. Swift and close enough, those fish become a single silver thread. A continuity. Our generations might be lines like that to the eyes of the universe. That might be its perception. As you may have gathered from what I've read of Goldbarth's work, it's very narrative, but that doesn't mean he doesn't use formal poetry as well. One of the formal revelations for me in Goldbarth is how he uses the sonnet. I just read you a piece from this poem where he uses the sonnet as a stanza. We recognize the length and find it natural, sort of like a paragraph in an essay, where each paragraph has its own subject line and its own conclusion. So that's Everyday People by Albert Goldbarth, and this holiday season, I'm contemplating abundance. We might be everyday people, but it's really cool how much we're capable of doing. So with that, I have to say thank you to everyone who's watched these videos, and everyone who's commented, and everyone who's made suggestions, everyone who's shared this blog, and everyone who's shared their great love of books with me. See you next year!